There's also a really interesting feature in libpq, which is the C interface to PostgreSQL. What it allows you to do is modify your application so that instead of sending a single query and waiting for the answer, and then sending another query, and then waiting for the answer to that query, and then sending another query and waiting for the answer to that one, you can send a number of queries all at once as a single batch. And if the queries are short running, that can really make a big difference, because it means that as soon as the server finishes processing one query and sending you the results, it can move right along to the next query and begin processing that one immediately without having to wait for the application to send the next query and without having to wait for that next query to reach the server.
So that sounds really exciting to me, because I spend most of my time working on PG Admin and other tools like that, which of course all use libpq. And I guess for years, what we've done, if somebody runs a query in the query tool in PG Admin, we're just sending that whole block of text, which might consist of 20 queries that are all separated by semicolons. Postgres processes the whole lot and sends basically one result back. Whereas I guess what this is going to allow us to do is tell it to batch them so that we can then progressively get the results from each part of the set of queries that's been that the user sent to the server, which is kind of nice. And it sort of ties into another feature that our users have asked for a lot, which is when they run a query that returns multiple result sets, because there's two selects, for example, in that query. At the moment, what pgadmin will do is just display the results of the last query. Everything else effectively just gets discarded. Whereas now we can actually open multiple results grid windows. So you'll actually see the results from all of those queries, which I think is pretty cool. Obviously, there's a lot of work to do yet, and we need to wait for it to get into the Python driver, but
I understand your point of view, and I understand why you think this is good. And from the PG admin point of view, it's really good. What I see is from my customer's point of view. I've seen several developers sending several queries because they did not want to join inside the database because they were not able to optimize their joins. And so they were sending several queries and joined in their own application. And we know that's bad, but developers don't know it's bad and don't know it's bad for their performance. And what I see here is it could be misinterpreted as a way that you send all your queries and you join inside the application. It does not mean the feature is bad. Actually, I think it's good. I just see that it could be misused.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of things can be misused, but I guess we have pretty good documentation, so all we can do is hope that the developers read that and make the right choices.
Yeah, I mean, I think another sort of overlooked feature is the way common table expressions can combine multiple queries together into a package. So the first query feeds into the second query, which then feeds into another, maybe an insert or delete. You know, it's kind of crazy how you can chain stuff together in a really powerful way. But you're right, if those queries are independent, they don't fit in a common table expression kind of workload, the ability to reduce that. A lot of people overlook how long that round trip takes. It takes a long time, particularly if you're looking at simple queries. It's just like, wow. Because you're physically going from one place to another, going through network stacks and stuff. So anything that kind of, streamlines that is gonna be usually a win.
Yeah, and unfortunately we can't change the speed of light. So
yeah.